Why is Ireland and the UK and Europe being flooded with low-skilled people who are not, I'm not going to say they're uncivilized, but they're not the same culture. They don't share the same myths and storylines as we do in Europe. Why are we being flooded with these people?
You know, if this concept of a great reset is to be believed, okay, that everything must be torn down and built back better, it's not going to be for your benefit or my benefit. You know, this was pushed for a long time by, you know, the so-called World Economic Forum and during the COVID years. We saw the big pharma coming in. We saw people being locked down, being controlled, being demonized, psychologically manipulated on a scale like we've never seen in history before. This was a real, genuine global event. Everywhere was under the same cosh, okay? And you've got to ask yourself a question, well, why was that? Was it a test run for something? And when you look at the way things are going at the minute with the push for digital identity being, you know, incrementally introduced, surveillance is not getting less. Crackdowns on what you can say is not lessening any. You know, there's an assault on freedom of speech. There's an assault on movements. There's an assault on cultures. There's an assault on people's identities. There's an assault on people's ways of life. And I believe that what we're seeing here is part of, you know, when you can get someone really wound up and frustrated, it drains them and it depletes them, and it makes them susceptible to say, look, I just want some form of normality again. I just want some of my old life back again. You might be given that, but it'll be at a price. Well, you know, it means that you can't say anything negative about your government. You can't travel too far. You can't have this type of vehicle. You can only have limited internet access, and you have to be a good citizen. Just work, keep your head down, pay your taxes, and everything will be all right for you. But if you don't do that, dissenters, you know, it's off to the gulag per se. So why is this all happening? Well, I know it's not for the benefit of the British people or the Irish people or the French people or the German people. This has not enriched us in any way, shape, or form. So the question is, well, what's it all going to bring about? If it keeps going the way it is, and you mentioned Northern Ireland there, it could be a reversal or a reversion back to, you know, horrific, constant, daily mass murder, bloodshed and death and destruction. And to control that, you know, some type of martial law could be brought in. There could be a real authoritarian crackdown, like we can't even begin to imagine, like the stuff of your worst nightmares. I can see it all heading towards that point, because no one I know is getting happier. No one I know is more energetic now than they were 5 years ago. No one I know is more positive than they were. People are like, oh no, they're still at it. They're still in power. They're still screwing us over. We're still struggling. We still can't make ends meet. We're tired. We're worn down. They're still at it. Starmer's still in power. Mayhol Martin's still in power. Ursula von der Leyen's still there. Macron is still there. And you know, even if you remove someone like Justin Trudeau, or you remove someone like Jacinda Ardern, it's like cutting the head off a hydra. You know, some other venomous creature with two heads pops up. So I just think it's a grinding down, Darren. It's a grinding down to leave us susceptible to accept whatever is set before us. Exactly what that'll be, you know, remains to be seen. But